Welcome everyone to Fursuiting 101. I am Midnight Wolf. I am your AV staff lead for main events. You will typically find me in main events. But for this, I have it broken down into categories. And now everything I will tell you is stuff I have also found that works for me. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. If you have a better way that you find it works for you, by all means, do what works for you. But I'm just going to go over what I have found works for me. First off, how many here want a fursuit? How many here have one and maybe this is their first convention wearing it? So I'm going to start off with what I call your first time suiting. If you can, I know sometimes you get the unboxing and it's here at a convention, maybe your maker's here and you pick it up there. But if you get it at home, put it on, walk around your house, see what some of your vision limitations are. If you have a full suit, try stairs. It's much easier to try at home if you have a handrail and do stairs, just kind of see what your limitations are. And you'll get kind of an idea. And if you have a mirror, kind of look in the mirror, see where the ears of the suit are, maybe where the nose is. So if you do want to make expressions to, play, shy, you can, because your ear isn't going to be here, it may be up higher, depending on the style of suit you have. But also when you wear it for the first time at home, it'll give you an idea of about how warm it's going to be, kind of how long you can feel you might be able to stay into it. The more you wear it, the longer you'll be able to stay in it. Like the first time I got mine, after about 15 minutes, I'm like, I'm done, get me out of this. As you build up endurance in it and pace yourself a little bit and drink plenty of water, I can go several hours before I feel I'm at the point where, okay, that's it, I'm done. Stay hydrated while in suit, especially in, like, if you go to Anthrocon or IFC, some of the, it's in the warmer times of the year where 80 or plus outside. If you aren't staying in the hotel all the time, drink plenty of water. Your body will need it. I've had misconceptions of, I don't want to drink water because then I will have to pee. No, you won't. Your body will use plenty of that water to keep you hydrated and keep you from becoming the flat carpet on the floor. Eat good meals. It kind of goes, if you've been to the Your First Furry Con, cheese puffs and Monster do not count as a meal. Eat good, substance meals. The Pop-Tarts, again, not a meal. Just because it's in the shape of a square does not make it a square meal. Plenty of meals. If bananas are good for the potassium, I would not recommend drinking milk, because if you have a full suit, the heat from your body being in a full suit can cause it to curdle possibly in your stomach, which becomes really uncomfortable. So stay away from dairy, stay away from coffee, lots of soda before getting in suit, and alcohol, because all that just speeds up dehydration, which your body is already going to be doing fairly quick, especially in a full suit. It's not as bad in a partial, especially if you have a digigrade suit. Those are a little warmer to wear than a planigrade suit, just because of all the extra padding involved in the suit to give it that shape. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Yes.
Are you able to wear your glasses under a fursuit head?
Yes. My suit, I have glasses. When I commissioned it, I did tell them I will need to wear glasses under it, and they put provisioning in their room for glasses. So if you do plan to wear glasses in your suit, when you commission it with your maker, let them know ahead of time so they can make those additions and adjustments for space inside the head. Yes.
In relation to that, actually, so how do you wear them without them getting fogged up inside, like how Morgan was saying this morning? Because I'm like, oh, this is probably an issue.
It is.
I have a suggestion for that.
I actually have a couple things, but I will probably go over again later in this. I have this, it's just Rain-X wipes. It's an anti-fog wipe. Usually find it in like an auto parts store or Walmart. They actually have the moist towelettes, and they also have it in a bottle that I use with like a microfiber cloth. I'll put 2 layers on, let it dry in between, and it's good for hours.
Costco also sells a defogger wipe too. It works really well, almost all day.
Yeah.
A box of 100.
Right, and if you don't want to have glasses fog up, the other option is contacts. I know people that have done that, but if you do want to stick with glasses, anti-fog wipes will help a lot. Sometimes I do know if you would have a small fan that's in the head that specifically aims at the glasses to kind of keep cool air on them, that helps. But if you add the anti-fog to it, like I said, put 2 coats on and let it dry in between, and it's pretty good all day. All right, I'm going to move on to what I kind of have as listed as I call fursuit do's and don'ts. If you're at home, say you get home from work, whatever, and you want to hop in a suit because who doesn't like being a giant fluffy animal? Shower before getting in suit. Because you will sweat in suit, and as they've covered in the Your First Furry campaign, 1, you cannot smell yourself, and 2, you cannot smell any scents you've picked up from wherever you may be working. And if you get in a suit and sweat, it will actually transfer those smells into your suit. And then when you put it on next time and sweat again, those smells will come back. Washing takes some of it out, but it doesn't necessarily mean it'll get all of it out. So if you just take a shower beforehand, that way you're clean, you're good to go. Use the bathroom before getting in suit. Even though you say you won't have to go anyways, because there's nothing worse than putting it all on, getting ready to head out your room and like, okay, I need to go, because typically the only way to go is to take everything back off, do your business, and then have to put it back on. You'll want to wear some, that's why Under Armour, they make several types. You'll have to be careful what kind you buy. Under Armour makes 2 different kinds. They make a heat gear and a cold gear. The cold gear is if you're going skiing and want to be helped stay warm. The heat gear is to help make you cool. So if you bought the cool gear and put it in a fursuit when you really don't need help staying warm, so just be careful that there are several other brands that aren't as expensive as Under Armour that will do the same thing. But for a full suit, I would recommend, shirt, pants, and then a balaclava for the head. I know some suits are built on a balaclava. I would still wear a second one, because you can take that second one off, throw it in the washer, wash it, and then it's clean. The one that's built in the head doesn't typically come out. So if you wear a second one, you can take that one, wash it. Don't, as they call it, marathon suit. There's some people, for whatever reason, that I know. I've been in suit for the last 9 hours. Why? Don't do that, especially your first time. More likely you probably will end up as that flat, fuzzy animal on the floor, which we like to prevent that, because otherwise we have to get security involved. And if they have to, they will cut your suit off of you. They're not going to take the time to unzip you, because the fastest way to cool you off is to cut you out of it. And that multi-$1,000 suit you have just paid for is now ruined. So don't marathon suit. Don't take breaks, 15, 20 minutes. That's why we have a headless lounge here. Go in, take your head off, get water. You know, it's one of the reasons if you see like some of the, I don't know, say bigger name suitors that you may see, like Gail Frostbane and Telephone, you'll see them a lot. But what you won't see is at a convention, there's so many other suitors, you don't see them slip away into that headless lounge for that 15, 20 minutes and come back. So take your time, and again, listen to your body. It will tell you, hey, I'm getting warm, I'm done, I need to get out. Don't push it. That endurance will come over time, the more you wear it. Like I said, my first time, 15 minutes, I'm done. Now it's several hours. So when your body says, you know, I'm done, go to your room, get out, you know, relax, cool off, drink water. At the end of suiting, if you want to drink Powerade or Gatorade to replace electrolytes you've lost, that's fine. I really don't feel it's necessary while you're in suit, just because you are sweating a lot and your body is actually going to sweat the liquid out faster than it can absorb those electrolytes. So if you do it once you've cooled down, your body will actually be able to reabsorb those instead of just sweating it out before it has a chance to. Once you're done, drink room temperature water. This may sound silly, you're like, oh, I want to drink cold water. Because if the cold water, if you drink it after, especially if you've been in a full suit, like the one standing in the back, full digigrade suit, the vast temperature difference that your body will be from water from the fridge can sometimes trick it into thinking, oh, it's hypothermic. You've fallen off into really cold water off a boat or something, and it can create a medical condition. So if you drink room temperature water, then once you've cooled off, you know, after half hour or so after being out, if you want to drink the cold water, that's fine. The same thing is getting out of suit. Don't jump into a cold shower. It can do the same thing. You can start with warm water and then slowly, as you're in there, turn it down to colder and colder, but don't go straight cold. Can possibly do the same thing just because of the vast temperature difference, because they have measured the hottest they've seen in Arizona and inside a fursuit head is 129 degrees. So if you jump into cold water from a shower, that is a huge temperature difference. So start with warm water. You can slowly go down to that cold water to cool off, but don't go straight cold. May not be every time, but there is a chance that just because of the vast temperature difference, it can trip that. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Either you're being polite or I'm doing really well.
You're doing really well.
Other tips I have, some people use a cooling device. There's an easy cool down vest. It has ice packs in it that you can put on and it goes underneath the suit. It can help add to the time of how long you can be out in suit, especially if you're in warmer areas or if you're doing a lot of outside public events. It can help extend that time that you can be out. I would stay away from ones that are just around the neck or just around the waist, because that just little strip of cold can do the same thing as jumping into a cold shower. Your body doesn't know how to handle that small section. If you do it over a larger section like the vest, your body knows how to handle that. Contacts and glasses. Again, anti-fog, if you do wear glasses in your suit, when you commission it, contact your maker to make sure they know that you're going to be wearing glasses in the head so they can put room in there for it. Whether they add padding to space the head out a little bit, just so the glasses will fit. But just be upfront with them. Most of them, as far as I know, if you, hey, I gotta wear glasses, they're like, okay, I can work with that. They just need to know ahead of time. Here, not always necessary, but you should carry your room key on you somehow. I know my suit has a chest pocket on the inside that I can put my room key in. Your ID, even though you're at a convention, you should still carry your ID on you. Because I've had this is FWA 2017 maybe. I think I was there and went to check into my, open the door to my room. Key card doesn't work anymore. If you go to, in full suit in this, to the front desk and go, I need a room key, they typically aren't going to make one for a black and blue 6-foot wolf. They are going to need to see your ID to go, yes, this is your room. This is especially important if you plan to do any public suiting, to have your ID on you, just in case, wherever you may be, police or whatever shop, you have some form of ID, to show them, whether that's with your handler, if you have one. I would carry it on you at all times, even here, just because if your room key stops working, again, as cute as Fluffy is, the hotel staff is typically not going to make a room just because you say, I have a room here. Some of the differences between if you plan to do public suiting and suiting at a convention setting like here, most everyone has a basic idea of what fursuiters need, whether it's vision limitations, letting them on the elevator first, there's a small child running up to them, let them know so they don't punt them across the room. Because remember, if a fursuiter punts a child, it is also tragic and adorable at the same time. But the public, they don't understand that. They just see cute fuzzy animal, let's hug it. They don't know the vision limitations. Depending on also the style of suit, I'm assuming yours has a lot better than mine. Because mine is a realistic head. I actually don't look out of the eyes on this suit, because actually the tear ducts here is the only thing I look out of. So if everyone wanted to, you could take your hands, do this, and go up to your eyes. That is my limitation. That is all I can see. That one is much wider than mine. If you are in the public, you can watch people's facial expressions. You'll be very easily to pick up on ones, I want to see this, I want a picture of it, and ones that, I want nothing to do with you, I'm going this way. Don't chase them down. Don't go, I'm going to change their mind. They're going to love me. Just let them go. They can go get a Starbucks. There will be plenty of people in a public setting that will want to see you, interact with you, take pictures, etc. You don't need to please everyone. Just watch their facial expressions, and your handler will be able to help with that. If you are going public suiting, I would recommend probably 2 handlers to 1 suitor if you can. Just because if you go to a park or something, there's probably going to be a lot more kids than here. And again, fursuiters cannot see or down. Don't hold small children in suit, because typically small wiggling children in large paws usually do not work well. You do not want to be responsible for dropping someone's child. If some parents will, here, hold my child, while I get a picture. Don't let them put them in your hands. Just keep your hands up to the side so they can't. If the parent wants to get in the photo with you, fine. If they still insist, maybe have one of your handlers do it that are not in suit and stand next to you, the suitor to get that picture. But don't let the parent put the child in your hands, because you do not want to be responsible for dropping it should that child wiggle out, because they're kids. They're here and then they're gone. Kids, especially smaller kids, you'll have to watch. Some will be shy. Some will be, I definitely want to see this. High fives work well. If getting down on one knee works well to lower the height of yourself to the child. And also, depending on the style of suit you have, the toonie style suit is usually more favorable towards kids than the realistic dog and I'm going to eat you. Because yes, that does happen. I've done that for Halloween. I've worn my suit, and you have the ones that are, you're cool, I want pictures with you, and obviously they want the candy. Then you have the other ones that, I'm good on the sidewalk. I don't need the candy from this house. I had one mom with the kid in the stroller. The kid stared at me for probably a full minute, and then broke into tears. Mom's like, time to go. Yeah, so watch kids, especially, like I said, depending on the style of suit. Toonie ones usually are a little more favorable towards kids just because they look more like the cartoons they see on TV. But if they are shy, try going down on one knee, doing the high five thing, maybe cover your eyes, kind of, play it. You're shy too, and it may help them open up a little bit to come give you that high five. If they want a hug, that's fine. You can put your arms out and they may come in for a hug. But if they're shy and don't want to, don't push it. They'll come when they want to or when they're ready to. Especially in the public, have your ID with you. Again, should you get stopped by whoever, you have some form of, I'm not a giant fluffy animal. You have some way to show who you are. And if you do plan to go public suiting, scout the area out beforehand if you can. Sometimes it doesn't happen with meets, if you go, but try and scout the area out before, see where, areas where you might be able to go. If you need to, take your head off, see where you're going to be parking, if you may be driving to there, figure out where your car may be parked from where you plan to go, so it's time to go. You know how to get back to your car. And this is where your handlers come important, because some suitors are, as we call a silent suitor, they don't speak in suit, they just do expressions or hand gestures, and that's something you can work with your handler, maybe that means time to go, or I know some will do this and they'll point, what time? It's, they're shooting around, it's 1:30 or whatever, and okay, well I started at 11:30, it's been 2 hours, maybe it's time to start heading towards the car, depending on how you feel. Or if you, especially the heads, they kind of muffle sound a bit. I know some that'll, if they hear something but can't see it, they'll bring a hand up to their ear and their, handler will tell them, it's a, guy with a leaf blower, it's a, kid kicking a soccer ball, someone slamming a car door, whatever, just so, because they can't see it, because your vision limitations, they will know what that sound is and their handler can tell them. And those are all cues that you will work out before you go. A little proper planning prevents poor performance. Ahead of, especially again in the public, because they don't know the limitations of the suitor. They don't know, they have vision limitations. Don't pull on the tail. For whatever reason, kids like that. Before going, handlers, conventions, it's not as necessary to have a handler at a convention, especially if you haven't been to like IFC before, or whatever convention you are planning to be at. Walk around the convention first, out of suit, get an idea of where the headless lounge is, where there's other places to sit down. Depending on the size of the convention, there may be more than one headless lounge. I want to say Anthrocon, I think, had 2, one in the hotel and then one in the convention center. So find out where those are. So if you're, I'm getting kind of warm, I know where this headless lounge is, you can go to it. But here, you probably don't, it's not necessary to have a handler, in my opinion, just because most everyone here, if you walked up to someone and asked, hey, I need help getting to the headless lounge, they're going to help you get there. Where if you're out in public, I would not go without a handler, just because of how much you, 1, cannot see, 2, it is very easy, since you can't, pull out your phone, it's this time, lose track of time. Can't tell you even here how many times I've done that in suit. Like, I'm still getting suit for an hour. 4 hours later. I should probably get out. You lose track of time just walking around, people taking pictures, interacting with others, and it's easy to do. So I would not go public suiting without at least 1, if you can, 2 handlers. And before going, explain their job so they understand what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to look out for the stairs that their suitor may not see, or there's a giant puddle of pudding on the floor, don't step in it for whatever reason. But they should understand, they're supposed to stay with the suitor, don't wander off, don't wander too far. I've heard I don't know them, but I remember them telling at another panel, they went, I think it was Anthrocon, they were to go to a restaurant in suit. They had 4 handlers. They all walked away, and now they're alone in downtown Pittsburgh in full suit. Yeah. So, make sure they understand that while I'm in suit, you need to stay here. Don't wander off. As much as they want to go talk to their other friends, they really do need to stay with you to help facilitate time. Just if you need water, I have a small backpack that I carry with mine, and I can put water and ID and stuff in. I don't see a backpack with him, so if he needs water, he either has to leave to go find water, or if he had a handler, they can bring him water, etc. It's just the amount of time and how fast it flies by when you're in suit. So I'm sure you know how fast it flies by. You're like, I'm only going to do this for an hour. Again, 6 hours later, it's 8 o'clock. I think I ate at 10. Should probably get food and all that. Yeah. Does anyone have questions on that? Yes.
So I heard that you said that you mentioned okay not have a handler, but whenever you're in full suit, how would you go about carrying your room key, ID as you said, maybe like water extra?
Well, there's several ways. Like my bodysuit has a pocket on the inside that I can put my room key and ID in. Some people will just shove it in their hand, especially here it has like the biometrics thing, and the door opens. It makes them feel cool. Like I said, I have a small sling backpack that I can put water bottles in if I wanted to carry that way, if you don't have a handler. Other than that, you really kind of gotta find a headless lounge to get water.
But the reason why I asked is that I was thinking about I used to deal with my handler, but whenever I don't have a handler, I just carry myself. The head is fine, but whole body not as fine. And if see one of your pictures, and you might be like, okay, let me take your bag. And I'm like, I don't know what I do with a random person in my bag. You know?
Right. That's why I kind of like the backpack, because it's usually on the back of the suit, and they're usually going to take that picture from the front, so they may just see the strap and it's not the full bag. It will be mostly hidden on the back.
And also, it might have names on it. So your backpack is hard.
Yeah.
Belt or a fanny pack.
Some people will do a fanny pack. That's possible too. You could do that and put all your items in there. You could always kind of turn that off to the backside a little bit, so it's not fully visible from taking photos.
You have to remember with fanny packs though, I have a suit that's got this where a small band like that, as you're moving around a lot, wears. So like you're not going to notice it on jeans, but when you've got a fur pattern that's like, oh, it's all crimpled. What's this? Oh.
Yeah.
And if you are shoving stuff up your arm, like I'm in Under Armour, I take on just like a hair tie and just right on there, and I can usually I'll stuff a credit card, my debit card, and my ID in my arm along with my room key, and so you would feel, I have a pocket in this one, so you wouldn't feel it normally, but you'll feel like, oh, look, there's a little chunk on his arm. Yeah, that's all my ID and everything.
Awesome.
Maybe have
It's an
another
awesome
question on the
concept.
other side.
Like,
Yes.
Are we talking about just normal like water bottles, or are we talking like are we talking like the plastic water bottles or the different types of water bottles?
Like camelback or something.
I mean, you can do one of those backpacks that has the water with the straw. I mean, that works too. But just regular plastic water bottles, just put in a backpack. Because if you're carrying your ID and whatever else, you can go in there. It's not going to hurt anything as long as you close it.
there's also time considerations with a camelback, and this works with the cooling vest he was talking about earlier. Is it's something that's up and against your body, and water, as much as it's good at staying cold for a while, once it gets warm, it starts maintaining heat. So that cooling vest or that camelback suddenly
It's
is
only
like,
good
oh, this is
for-
really hot against me, and I don't want this anymore. I would be better off wearing nothing.
Yeah. The cooling vest, has a limited amount of time of how long those packs stay cold before they start kind of reversing themselves and becoming warm. But they do help in extending the amount of time you can be in suit.
Got another one in the back.
Yes. I'm sorry? Oh, electronics?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm not really sure on that. I don't really have any electronics on mine.
I don't think they have it at this convention, but at some of the bigger ones, there's usually a panel called along the lines of adding useless electronic bullshit to your fursuit. Like, that's the name of it. Go to that. Those panels are ran by people like M-Blade and whatnot, where you see the videos of like, oh, look at the whole suit's got LEDs and everything built through it. It's those guys pulling that one off, and they can explain all of that for days.
Yeah. There's probably videos on YouTube on that too.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But if we don't have any more questions on that, I'm going to move into what I have as carrying your fursuit. Alright. Once you're done suiting, between times when you can properly launder it at home, once you get out, spray it down with rubbing alcohol. I use 91% rubbing alcohol when I'm not flying, because they won't let that go on the plane because it's classified as flammable. It can only take 71%, I believe, on a plane. I do not dilute it. I use straight rubbing alcohol, because rubbing alcohol is already, 60-40?
Yeah.
So 60% alcohol, 40% water, and if you do a 50-50 mix, well, that basically flips it. It's now like 30% alcohol, and the rest is water, which really isn't doing anything to your suit anymore. So just spray it down with regular rubbing alcohol, cheap spray bottle at Walmart, Rite Aid, whatever, $3. This does the job just fine. You don't need anything fancy. Spray it down. It'll help kill any bacteria, because you are sweating a lot in suit. in between the times when you can properly launder it at home. Spray inside the head, because again, it's
Watch out with the eyes when you do that.
I don't remember if
My
she
glass
does.
eyes.
Yeah, but the mesh is painted, or is it straight black?
straight black.
Yeah, so he's got no problems damaging mine. This one doesn't have any
Well, I
problems
mean,
with how to
you're
do
not-
it, but a lot of suits, the eyes aren't waterproof, so you spray that rubbing alcohol in there and suddenly paint bleed. Yay!
Yeah. Well, also you're not supposed to, douse it so it's dripping. I mean, you
Yeah.
just, a light spray, through the inside.
But would you have an off-gassing problem with the alcohol next time you wear the suit?
Not
No,
really.
it evaporates quick enough.
Yeah, like
not
I don't even use 91. I use 70 because I want it to sit there and kill things a little longer. Versus 91 is like you could spray it on a table and 5 minutes from now, oh, it'll look dry again.
Right.
And then we have fans and everything for all that too.
Yeah. Use a head fan. I have one for this that collapses. That I didn't properly bring everything that I wanted to for this panel. I usually have business cards for my maker and for this head fan, but you can find them online. My maker is Golden Maw, and the head fan I have is from Armen's Studios, I believe.
Hey, no clue.
But I like it because, one, it's USB powered, so if you were at a meet or something, power bank will make it work. And this fits really easy into a suitcase. Especially for traveling, if you're flying to a con, where you don't necessarily have the option to bring a bunch of stuff in your car where you are limited of what you can bring. This takes up next to no room.
I had fence is one of the Barnados that you see everybody running around.
Well, I mean, again, you did drive, so.
Yeah.
What did that cost?
It's just a head fan. It's a collapsing head fan. I will have to, like I said, I normally have business cards from them. Fortunately, I forgot to bring them. I believe they're sitting at home on my counter.
And that pretty much dries out the head because you're sweating in it.
Right. The fan just blows air up into it, and it probably dries in probably a half hour.
Yep. And then the other one
But for the bodysuit, I have a hang air dryer. It's actually made for wetsuits, but it's an oversized hanger with a fan built into it. Again, I don't think I've had to wait more than 45 minutes for it to dry out my suit.
Yeah, those are $60. I usually, get out of suit, spray it down, go to dinner, come back, it's dry again.
Yeah.
That one's made by a brand called Underwater Kinetics.
Yep. I have one of those that you can get it on eBay. It's, they're, like you said, $60, and it's worth every bit of it. Yes.
Speaking of drying a bodysuit, how do you dry a bodysuit that you've been washing now?
We're getting to that. Washing your suit at home, usually only the bodysuits can go into the wash. I turn mine inside out and wash it on cold. Because again, this is not actual fur, it is a plastic, and if it gets too warm, it melts. So I run it on a cold, and a lot of makers will recommend a mild detergent like Woolite. You can, if you get stains on it, you can use a spot remover like Folex. Works well because it is a plastic. I do know people that use bleach on their suits, and it doesn't mess the colors up or anything because it's not an actual fabric. It doesn't stain. Like if you drop it onto your shirt and you get that white ring, it doesn't do that because it's not an actual fabric.
It's how it's made. All shirts they all start out white and then they get dyed whatever color they want, the manufacturer. The blues you see, the oranges, the purples, this is, as they're making that plastic, the dye is actually, it's basically a liquid. And dye gets mixed into that, so it's all one piece, and then it runs through a machine that just turns it into fluff.
But typically, heads, hands, and feet do not go into the wash. I do know there are a few makers that say you can put their heads into the washer. I don't, mainly because one, my maker doesn't recommend it, and two, this is built on a resin blank, so if it gets hit too hard, it will crack the resin blank, and now I got to get a new head made.
What about top spin washers?
That's what I use, but mine is, I did when I got my first suit, went out and bought a washing machine that, it's a top spin, but it doesn't have the agitator stick in the middle. So that's not there for it to wrap around and get stretched out on.
So just remove the center.
What?
So you're saying just remove the center thing?
If yours comes off, if your washing machine's
not all of
designed,
them come
mine
off.
doesn't do that. I had to go
But
buy a new washer that.
But I
didn't
know
have this.
Gail Frostbane, before she moved out, her apartment complex had, as she classified, the oldest washers known to man. And they had the center agitator, and she washed all her suits in there, and they're fine.
Yeah.
But I would still turn it inside out.
And you can get away with like the center agitator bit. Like the big one is if your arms got wrapped around it or something, you could get the body. But like before I was doing the inside out method like he was talking about, I was taking a body pillowcase and then just poking some holes in it so the water can get in and out, and chucking the whole suit in there right side out, and then just let it do its thing, and it was fine.
That'll work though.
Yep.
Yeah.
One suit at a time in the washer. I have tried doing more than one. It does not work. Too heavy.
I bet. Don't use fabric softener while washing your suit. The fabric softener will loosen the backing the fur goes into, and it will cause the fur to fall out of it. Because as much as I think everyone wishes, this does not grow back.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have not seen an Egyptian sphinx like naked fursuit cat yet, so.
I've had this happen a couple times with mine. If when you pull your the suit out of your washer, if you find it has like a static cling to it, obviously normal clothes you put it in a dryer with a fabric softener sheet, and that makes that go away. Well, you can't do that with a fursuit. I've had that, and you can either take a fabric softener sheet and run it down the suit, or a piece of aluminum foil will pull that static cling kind of out of it, if you find it has it. Doesn't do it all the time I wash it. Every now and then, I don't know why it does it, but it does. But if you do come across that piece of aluminum foil, just kind of run it over the surface of it, and it'll pull that static cling off of it. As your suit is, once you pull it out of the washer, it's going to be damp, but it's not going to be soaking. You can lay it on the floor, put a fan on it, brush your suit with a pet brush. This is just a slicker brush, and pay attention to how these work. These bristles have a hook shape to them. They are made to pull loose hair out of a dog. You actually want to use this backwards. This way it will not pull the fur out, it will straighten it, but it won't pull it out like it's typically designed to do on a normal dog. Because again, fancy fur, it does not grow back.
Should have brought my other combs. Other ones you can get away with for that are, you'll see them in like the women's beauty sections at stores, the wet brushes where it's like you're doing your hair while it's still wet. Those work great on the suits because the bristles are soft enough and far enough apart. They're not grabby, which is exactly why it works on hair. And there is another one you can get. It looks like a comb. It's for pets. It's steel, and that thing is designed to rip everything out. But like if you somehow manage to get some snarl or something, you can pick at it, and it's gonna take fur away, but it's gonna get rid of that knot. So you be careful not to do too much, but it might be the only way to fix a problem.
True. And again, if you have questions on how to clean your suit, talk to your maker. Some makers,
The card thing.
like mine, Fursuit Care Guide. Most of them will give you some kind of guide with it that will go over how to.
Oh, that's the old one.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
We'll go over how to clean it. And if you have questions, contact them. They're more willing share. And if your suit has airbrushing on it, I am sorry, your life sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you have airbrushing on your suit, if you just take that thing and chuck it into the washer, it will actually wash that out. Your maker will redo it for a fee. If you have airbrushing, it becomes kind of a hand wash only item, and it's much harder to clean. So just keep that in mind if you do plan to get a suit with airbrushing on it. It's going to take 2 or 3 times longer to clean than everyone else.
And keep people away from them because body oils will break down airbrush paint. So like I have a couple of mixed candy suits. They're very airbrushed in the face. And everybody goes, oh my God, these faces are awesome. No.
Repair kits, everyone should carry one with their full suit. I have one. You can buy them. You can make your own. This one was for fursuitsupplies.com. Covers every needle and thread, glue, hot glue, super glue. Yep. But you can easily make your own for cheaper. That way you can put colors of thread that work with your suit. Like they give you the standard red, white, green, yellow, black. I don't need much yellow and black and white on this suit. I need a lot of more blue and black thread. Where out here you could use the white, or I don't need those colors. So you can make the repair kit to suit whatever colors your suit is, so you have it. And if you don't know how to sew, there's YouTube tutorials that you can watch. I'm sure there will be someone in the dealer's den or around the convention if you had something happen, it would be willing to help you.
When you're fixing patches or anything like that, as much as you'll go to Joann's and go, oh, upholstery thread, this is rated really strong. At that point, that upholstery thread is stronger than the backing is, like the cloth, because underneath all of this fur is basically a t-shirt, if you were to look at it. That upholstery thread, if it's stronger than the shirt, the next time you do something that might pop that seam again, you didn't pop the seam, you ripped the backing. The fixing for that is a lot of sewing that's going to get you all nice and bunched up. You don't want to do that. So regular, 1500 thread count thread is fine. That's what you want. You want the weaker stuff. But
my phone's over here going off like a lot. I'm like,
you are the AV director.
I know. Come back and main events is on fire.
It's a 2-person concert. It should be fine. If it's on fire, we need to know what the hell they did.
Now I'm going to move into storing your suit. 1, make sure it's completely dry. You'd rather not pull out the suit next time you put it on and, wow, this seems kind of musty. It's been damp and sitting in a dark bin since your last convention 4 months ago. Do that. Keep it away from warm places because again, it is basically a plastic. If it gets too warm, it will melt.
Keep it away from sunlight.
That's nice.
Yep.
Keep it away from sunlight. Like if you were to put your head on a shelf and to display and the sun comes on it, it will still cause it to fade, and you will find over time these colors no longer match the rest of the suit.
Yep.
Obviously, there's only one way to fix that. Have a new head made.
Yep. And whites don't fade to yellow, so if you've got an all-white suit, you're still running into problems.
Yep. Travel tips. I would recommend, either a really well-made suitcase like a hockey duffel bag, that really thicker material, or a hard-sided suitcase. I know a lot of people use those Pelican air cases just because you can throw them off a mountain and they're fine. Because Airlines is nice and safe and handles everything with care.
They do. My Pelican cases are broken because of the airlines. It's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Too lazy to do the return, but it's a lifetime warranty, so at some point I'll get bored and be like,
I'm standing
"Time to
15
take this
feet
off."
from the plane. I can still chuck it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. if you're flying to a con, I would recommend putting like your bodysuit and everything and the check bag go under. Don't put the head as a check bag. I would do that as a carry-on. Again, resin head gets hit too hard. They set someone's bowling ball on top of it. It's now crushed, and now I no longer have a head and have to remake that. So if you carry it with you, at least the head will be safe. You know, the bodysuit, again, is more of a t-shirt. There's not really much danger of it being crushed. Any cleaning spill areas should be in a spill-proof container. I still put my stuff in a double zipper Ziploc bag, just should they leak. At least there's another level of something to contain them in the bag. I've also personally started to make things fit into smaller spaces. Those vacuum bags. In your standard, like, big rolling suitcase, I have bodysuit, all the padding, 2 sets of feet, all the Under Armour, cleaning solutions, head fan, all that in a standard suitcase, and it fits because I'm able to suck a lot of the air out of it.
I've done 3 full-size fursuits, all planner grade ones, so none of this obviously. I have a plus 5 days worth of clothes, plus all of my Under Armour in 2 suitcases, a carry-on roller, and my backpack.
They do help. So if you can do this, space bags, I have a little fan on Amazon or a pump, I guess, that pulls the air out of the bag. So if you're at a convention and it's USB charged, so you can plug it in when you're not charging your phone. You plug it in and it'll suck the air out. Yes.
Given that full body suits that we have in our document and stepping to stuff in there, when you do about a head that's fragile, it's a very abnormal shape and you don't exactly want to shove it in there.
Yeah, because yours is also kind of approaching the bigger than the dimensions of an airplane for a carry-on, so.
What I've been doing is I just have a giant bag and I just put it in there and let it kind of hold to the finish of that inventory
That's fine, as long as you're making sure it's not getting hit against anything or all that. It's
right.
You carrying the head around inside of a bag is no different than you carrying the head around just in your arms right now if you wanted to.
Right. But I wouldn't put it under a plane because, again, you can label it fragile, and they're like, oh, that's not breakable, punt it into the plane. All right.
Don't care.
But overall, again, like I said, this is stuff that I found works for me, it works for others. Doesn't mean it's the only way to do it. If you find something that works for you, that you think is easier and does the same thing, by all means, do it. Because overall, the most important thing about fursuiting is having fun. Now, that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions. Yes.
So, who do you consider for making fursuits for larger sizes?
I mean, the makers will make them for anything. It's all based off of, at some point, if you make a commission for it, I guess I would ask them in advance before they get the slot if you think that that's going to be a concern. But if they say it's not, at some point it's going to be you and your friends wrapping you up in duct tape. And then the maker's just going to buy the amount of material needed to make a body that fits around that duct tape of yourself that you just made.
Yeah, that's really, again, ask them whatever maker you're planning to go with. And if they say, yeah, we can do that, it's just getting your friends to help put you in duct tape and then remembering to cut you out of it.
Yeah, because like anything else, you can make suits that are, XXXL or, XXXS. You see the people run around, oh, look, I'm like 4'5". And
yeah, and yet I know a few people that out of suit, they're close to 7 foot, and in suit, they're like 8. You're like,
Luca, yeah.
Okay, I'm not short, but I feel small.
But yeah, if the maker will take the commission, it's not that much of a difference to make something for somebody larger or smaller than it is, regular size.
Yeah, but again, it's just like if you needed glasses, just ask them up front. You know, I need to wear glasses, or you know, I need this, and they'll go, yes, I can do that, or you know, they may say I can do this for. They might make it a little extra.
That's
up
will
to them.
probably happen. Because
Some do, some don't. It's all up to that particular maker.
fur fabric like this is about $45 a yard right now. I'm probably wearing about 7 to 8 yards worth of material because it all comes in giant rectangles, right? So at some point they cut off a bunch and threw a bunch away. So if they go, hey, look, I'm going to need an extra 3 or 4 yards of material, they're going to bill you for that. So just expect that one.
Right. So it'll just be a little probably higher price at the end. But just be upfront with them. I need this, and yeah, we can do that. I don't think I know too many makers that will say no.
Yeah, they want your money.
Most of them, if you're willing to take my money, they will take your money. Anything else? Any other questions? No?
Don't get a suit like his on the first try. Did you?
That was my first choice.
Oh, you're sadistic.
Massive.
It
Yeah.
depends if you like the realistic style or
Yeah,
not.
I do. I have.
I
my
like the
circle-
fact that I scared children, all right?
Yeah, but so does my circle suit. But I also like trying to get through a crowd. I'm just like, no.
I don't have a problem. I don't have the blind spot in the center.
Oh, yeah, that helps. So don't get a circle suit that's got that type of eyes.
There you go.
How you said your visions was dimes? They're here instead of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't have the blind spot. I've had people like, slow down.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah,
I'm the one in suit. You should be the one, I should be having a hard time keeping up with you.
Yep.
Well, that is, again, like I said, all I have. Remember, have fun. And as always, enjoy IFC 2022.
Very educational. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a blind spot in the center.
Little shit. Yeah, mine is basically like if you're not like here or here up to the side of me, I don't see you, and everybody in front of me is dead to the world. Oh, yeah, that would be so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've had people like, slow down. Like, you realize I'm the one in the full suit doing stairs.
Yeah.
Down.
No, I do not take stairs in that suit. I can't see them.
Oh, it's funny. I've literally done stairs and I'm sitting at the bottom doing this and people are just laughing.
Silver Gattoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gattoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gattoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.